Good morning, it's time for some food poisoning for thought. So, I have a question based on some notes that I wrote uh, last night. Oh, yeah, right there. I've noticed that there's this tendency amongst experts in different fields not to look outside their field. Simple collection of notes, the one I wrote here. There's 7 billion people on the planet right now. Well, more than 7 billion. Back at the beginning of the 20th century, there was there was less than 2 billion, probably about 1.5, which is probably closer to what was a sustainable level for world population. Since the 70s, we've had diminishing oil discovery worldwide, especially conventional oil. We have mass extinctions that have been going on for who knows how long. For as long as we've had industrial civilization, we've had repeating cycles of boom and bust that everyone's noticed, but nobody seems to realize when we're in the midst of. Oh, it's not a real estate bubble. This is the new normal. Oh, it's not a tech bubble. This is the new normal. Oh, it's not a bond bubble or what have you. It's always the new normal, and then it's not. Uh, Medically, there's an increase in clinical depression as well as an increase in antibiotic-resistant superbugs. Worldwide, we're seeing a spreading social instability. The Arab Spring, initially mistaken for a spreading and upswelling of democracy, is now being more accurately recognized as a sweeping failure of less politically stable dictatorships. Of course, we have climate change, the rising average global temperatures, and the melting sea ice, dying coral reefs, dying fish stocks that all go with it, changing weather patterns as well. We're seeing an increasingly polarized social debate. You're either far to one side or far to the other. The middle is disappearing. On a farming front, we are, of course, seeing topsoil loss. We're also seeing increased pesticide resistance in the pests that are attacking the crops. Now, whenever I read things, I see these in isolation, sitting in these little test tubes. Here, 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 here. No one's looking at them as a hand. Everyone's looking at the fingers. There's 5 fingers. It's funny, that makes it a hand. No, there's 5 fingers. I mean, it's not there's no one looking at it, but as soon as you start looking at all of the things together, you're a crank. You're a nut. It seems to me that somebody looking at the whole problem is the opposite of a nut. But what do I know? I mean, really, what do I know? But I think if we actually looked at the problems as a whole, they would undermine our ability to continue engaging in our modern systems. And that's why there's social pressure not to examine them that way. Problems for which there are no good solutions. Despite what people on the left are telling us, there's likely no way that we can address global climate change without a dramatic and heavy sacrifice of our standard of living. It's not doable. There's no feasible way to deal with a surplus of 5 billion people, amongst many other things. So, perhaps that's why there's not really a good incentive to look at these problems and ask what do they represent as a whole, because what they represent as a whole may be the end of the party. So there you go, think on that.